So, in today's video, I'll show you how to fix this for Techpo Kupka on the Horoshop platform so that the number of conversions is no less than in Universal Analytics, and how to properly set up enhanced conversion tracking. Because, following the old manual, we ran into some problems. I don't know exactly when they appeared, but they're definitely there. So what's the deal? Let me start by describing the details of this problem. Timestamps will be down below. If you want, you can skip straight to the setup part. It'll take you less than a minute. Trust me, I'll give you a ready-made container. You just download it or add it to your existing container. I'll show you all of this, and that's it. And then you just publish the container. I'm explaining the issues for those who are interested. So, what's the problem with the previous setup I showed? I don't know if the problem is actually with the Horoshop system itself, because I haven't come across this issue on other platforms. Or maybe the problem is with Google and Horoshop together. Anyway, I didn't spend time figuring out who's to blame or not, but here's the point. The old setup assumes that we rely on the data level of this particular parameter, and basically, it works. So every time I test a conversion, I see this data layer. Basically, I see it almost every time. I don't have any glitches. But when we try to hook onto this block of information, it either gets recorded incorrectly, or it's captured randomly, or maybe something just doesn't load at all. And I don't know what's causing this problem. All these tons of messages with Horoshop haven't given me any results. I know I have clients who manually added this tech purchase code, but as far as I understand, their client base is growing, and it's really hard for them to ask everyone to fix it. Although honestly, damn, all these e-commerce platforms really should. Come on, you're not a platform made for SEO promotion. It's just impossible, whether it's Shopify or Horoshop, even though I'll compare them. Doing SEO is really hard. All these platforms are mostly designed so you can launch traffic, do some SEO, and start getting sales. Well, I don't know. In most cases, that's exactly why people use these platforms. So, just make an easy integration for everything that Facebook, TikTok, and Google are asking for. Come on, it's really not that hard. They're not asking for some super critical technical setup. But seriously, this could be your thing, making it convenient to launch all these features. That's exactly what made Shopify take off back in the day, because it was so convenient. You don't need a developer, you don't have to mess around with the code. God, sometimes with WordPress, you open it up and think, my God, I feel sorry for those clients who get tied to developers. Not a single fix, not a single installation of some important feature that needs to be done quickly is possible without those developers who charge a ridiculous amount of money for it. But anyway, that's not what this video is about today. So, what's the point? The thing is, this feature randomly doesn't work properly. Whether it's a problem with Horoshop or with Google, I honestly don't know. But what can you do about it? So logically, we thought, since GA4 is used more and we usually set up GA4 in your admin panel as tags, and it works, plus in both of these events, this e-commerce block is included at the same time. So we'll focus specifically on this e-commerce block. Just this e-commerce block, and that's it. That's the logic behind it, and it worked. Let me show you now. Here's one of the accounts. Here you go. Here are some fresh ones. Here you go, brand new. 3rd, October 5th, here you go, a purchase of 45, here 40, so everything's fine. Same thing if you take a slightly longer period, 81, 80 purchases. These are really fresh, everything is working perfectly. Plus, I'll show you how the ad campaign has been adjusted. Here too, it's a 100% match, super perfect, everything's great, no problems at all. So, to sum up, going back to this issue, we switched it over to e-commerce. But that's not okay. I'd like it to work the way it does. For example, on WordPress, where all those plugins are either paid, like $200, or free. They generate the same level of data, just like this here. But at the same time, everything you want gets sent there. Everything, please, card content, previous emails, hashed or non-hashed data, whatever you need, it's all included, old and new parameters, everything's set up, everything's fine, everything works. The only thing that might not work is if you and your developer are making your own custom improvements. Everything is ready, everything works, everything's fine. Why is it done this way here? It doesn't matter, guys. Honestly, it really doesn't matter, because we're not building our own e-commerce platform. That's honestly a massive, thankless job, most likely. For some reason, that's just how it is, and I don't want to deal with technical support about it. I'm already tired of arguing or, talking to them, or whatever else. Basically, they have their own rules, so we just have to adapt. In this case, for now, it's fine. I wouldn't say this is the perfect setup for tracking everything. I feel like some sales still get lost, but it's better than what we had before. So, let's move on to the settings. I'm not going to show how to place an order again here or explain the data collection logic. All you'll need to do is follow the link. I'll leave it either in the description of this video or in the first pinned comment. What are we going to do? I'm giving you a ready-made setup with all the tags, triggers, and variables. Here it is, I have it right here. Look, I'm exporting it here. I'm just showing you that it's being exported. Here's the latest version of the container. Here's an example. Here it is. Let's just save it. Everything's there. All you need to do is go into your tag manager. Go to the admin panel. Go to Import Container and select the container that you downloaded. Click Open. Next, select the existing workspace. Most likely, you don't have many of them. Select this second option, Merge, and just in case, choose Rename. That's it. Next, click the Apply button, and that's all. That's everything you'll need to do to get this done. Saved. After that, you'll see, let me actually show you the tag contents so you have them. There are these 3 tags. Yeah, 3 tags, that's right. One of them is the Google Ads tag, EW, followed by some numbers. So, it's better to remove the Google Ads tag from the admin panel. Just delete it from there, just in case, so the data doesn't get duplicated. Also, if we're setting up an event through Tag Manager, it's best for the tag to fire through Tag Manager as well, because that's just how Google works. Honestly, this is really Google's fault. Do you need to set any configurations in consent mode? If you're setting it up for Ukraine, either set it to no consent or you don't need to do anything. It doesn't affect the quality of data collection because Ukraine isn't part of the European Union, so it won't be triggered. This is what the tag looks like. Where do you get this? Google tag. Let me show you again, just in case. When you create a conversion, for example, you click on Create Conversion. Actually, let me show you how to create a conversion. Select Website. Enter your site's domain and click Scan. It'll suggest all sorts of nonsense there. For reasons I don't really understand, you choose Create Manually, which is the last option. Select Purchase, and here you choose whether it's a primary or secondary action if it's a primary one. Name it Purchase there, and set up the configuration like this. Here you can choose 2 or 3 weeks, or just leave it at 30 days and change it later if needed. I also prefer to switch it to last click. In this context, leave the checkbox as is, then click Done, Save, and Continue. Now we save all of this. And what do we do next? Click Done. Go into this conversion, and what are we going to see here? In this first block, there's a B, and here we go. Basically, you don't need to copy anything from here. Go to the Tag Manager tab, take this conversion ID, go into your container, and paste it there. Everything's perfect, everything's ready, you've got it. Next is the purchase. I'll show you the same way. Conversion ID. You transferred the same conversion ID. The conversion label as well. Here it is, right here, your very own. Copied from here, pasted here. Do you need to do anything else? You don't need to do anything else. Next, I'll just explain the logic. Here we take the e-commerce value. Here we take the transaction ID so that conversions aren't duplicated. We take the currency so that everything is recorded correctly in your advertising account. Merchant ID. Where do you get it? You can go to your merchant center, and in the top right you'll see a numeric value, either a number or a letter on it. Or you can go into Google Ads, go to the manager. Mine is called Data Manager, then to Merchant Center Manage and Link, and there you'll find your Merchant Center account ID. Copy that little bead and paste it here. You can set the feed country and feed language, or you can leave them blank. Actually, you can skip this entirely, but I prefer to fill it in because it might come in handy for some reports in the future if Google updates this. Basically, I only configure this settings block just for this particular thing. What do I need from this thing? I needed to add a parameter called ID to this array set. You might ask, why do we need to add this ID if we already have an item ID? Well, who knows why Google made GA4 and asks for item ID there, while Google Ads only wants ID. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories about why everything is so messed up. Well, you know, why they did it this way, anyway. But what's the point? Some ad accounts interpret this item ID correctly for generating cross-sell reports for cross-sales, while others interpret it incorrectly. To be on the safe side, I add this ID, you'll have this variable, everything will be great, everything's fine. User-provided data, I'm showing you, it's not some big secret, here's the JavaScript background, go ahead. Last time, in my previous guides, I showed that we set it up the way Google recommends, using value and selector. But it turned out that on Horoshop, this selector is different, on different devices. Honestly, who would have thought? And of course, why did they come up with it that way? There's nothing like that on WordPress, nothing like that on Shopify, nothing like that on OpenCart, but oh well. The main thing is that it was discovered, found, here you go. There's custom JavaScript, here you go, the logic is described right here. If you want, you can add the same thing for email directly, but in most cases on Horoshop, email isn't used, only the phone number is. Here's the phone. Everything was recorded. The final thing you need to do correctly is set up the trigger. The trigger is set up exactly like this. The DLV event model currency doesn't contain UA, so everything's perfect. It works like a charm. Here, let me show you the text. Here it is, everything is being transmitted, everything that's embedded. The transaction ID is there, the phone number is there, the language, etc. The order value is there, and all the items are present. From here, Google will take this set of data. Everything is absolutely great. I go into Google Ads, and again, I look for my conversion. Here it is, this conversion. Here's the phone number, this PND. That's the phone number that was transmitted, price ID, quantity. I've got it all. Value, transaction ID is there, the tag is there, everything's awesome, perfect. Let's keep selling. We launch the ads and get sales. I don't know whether they're big or small, whatever you have. The only thing left, the final step, the last button. You absolutely have to click. For real, don't forget to hit submit. That's it, this thing is working for us for now. Well, look, because of the specific way this platform works on Horoshop, I can't guarantee that in a month it'll still be working perfectly. Sorry, but I don't develop these platforms. I can't, I don't know, I don't even know where to write to them so they'd fix some basic things. Because honestly, it doesn't seem that hard to do it on Horoshop the same way it's done on Prom. But you know what? Compared to Shopify, these platforms are like little beads, because sometimes the stuff that happens on Shopify is just unbelievable. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and delete some unnecessary conversions that aren't needed. So, you have the container. Just a reminder, the link will be either in the comments or in the video description. Go ahead, click the link and take it for yourself, please. Everything works for me, so you don't need to worry about anything. I've uploaded everything, I've done everything, otherwise people will start saying, Yana didn't do something right. At the time I recorded this video, everything was working, everything was super good. But Google changes, Horoshop changes. Unfortunately, there's no way around that. Here, I think most of the problems are actually with Google itself, but when you write, I only had this problem with Horoshop. I write to Horoshop, do this. They tell me to contact Google, and Google sends me back to Horoshop. Call after call, setting things up with different specialists, with the same English-speaking support, with the same guys for GTM, setting things up on Horoshop, they don't help. A specialist looks at it and says everything's great, everything's working, everything is just as it should be. But who could know that the event model randomly triggers or somehow isn't being read by Google? No one can say, for example, that their selector is completely different on different devices. No one can know that either. So, the previous configuration options that were set up were checked by a specialist. Well, from Google, yes. I myself complain that Google specialists are like that, but let's be honest. The person who was handling the personal setup of the tag manager said that everything was fine because it was double-checked at the time, and it was recommended to contact the developers. And no matter how many times we wrote to them, we got zero feedback. But that's understandable because the platform is huge and the number of clients keeps growing, so that's how it is.